Welcome to The Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas. This season we're filming in the heart of the Shenandoah Valley. I'm here at the Natural Bridge in Natural Bridge, Virginia. And now we're in the kitchen. Godfrey, what you got cooking? To the berry knocker. Berry knocker. Welcome to the Frontier Culture Museum in Stanton, Virginia, in the heart of the Shenandoah Valley. We're here at the English Farm, which is a 16th century farm that was brought over from England and reconstructed on site. Let's go inside and see what's cooking. Welcome, we're here at the English Farm with Sally. This is a 16th century English farm here on the Frontier Culture Museum. We are in the kitchen part of the house getting ready to prepare some delicious meat pie. So what have you done so far?
Well, what I have right here, I've mixed some rye flour and some whole wheat flour. You mix that together, and then in just a moment I'm going to put in some warm water, just separate warm water, and then some water that has lard in it.
Okay, that's interesting. Why do you do that? Like normally I would think of pastry you'd have cold ingredients, not hot water. What's the purpose of that?
It's important to get that mixture. It's an art to make this coffin pastry. And you want to make it so that it's strong enough to hold up, hence your rye flour, but yet malleable enough to work with, hence your whole wheat flour.
Where would you have gotten your flours to do this? Like, do you have a, how does that happen?
These people have been growing wheat, rye, and barley, and they would be going and taking this to the mill and getting that ground, and that's where they're going to get that flour.
Okay, and can you talk a little about who these people were?
We're talking about a yeoman family. And these people do come from Worcestershire, England, in the West Midlands. A yeoman farmer, someone who's hardworking and successful. This particular yeoman farmer, he was doing well, and he's the top of the working class. But if you were to compare him economically to today, he would be upper middle class.
Oh, okay. So would a meat pie be something that an upper middle class family would eat, or would it be something that, you know, a yeoman farmer would have?
Something a yeoman farmer is going to be eating, and one of the nice things is you could be cooking a cooked meat a day or two ahead of time. You have leftover meat, and you're going to use that in your meat pie. And right here we have some lamb or mutton, and that has been cooked, and you're going to cut that up, and you're going to be putting that into your meat pie.
And lamb would have been the most common thing you would have used? Lamb or mutton?
I would say lamb or mutton, beef at times. This family did have 100 sheep, so they're going to be going ahead, and they're going to be at times, yes, using
so
that
they were
for
big time
food
farmers, 100 sheep. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your cooking methods. I see obviously you have an open hearth.
And if it's okay at this moment,
yeah.
I am going to, excuse me, sorry to put in front of you. I'm going to go ahead here and put a little bit of this.
Oh, this is the lard and the hot water, correct?
Yes. Yep, you put some of that in. And put that right there. And then I'm going to get from the open hearth here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a little bit more. This is just your plain
And let me know
lard.
if I can help you at any stage.
Okay. Well, if you would like to stir, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I can stir.
Do that?
I can do that.
And it really is an art. No one's measuring anything.
Right.
It's something that you're going to learn from your mom, and then your mom's going to, you know, you would know how to do it, and so on and so forth.
Totally in contrast to how we think of pastry today as being like a scientific, you know, measure everything and make sure all the measurements are right. You're doing it by feel.
Exactly.
Correct? Yeah. And this is the lard. Just keep going until it looks right.
Yep.
I'm doing a horrible job,
And she is you're making the coffin. You're doing a great job.
Making
Sarah.
the coffin. Now, why do they call it a coffin?
That's you're making your container, and you would use it multiple times.
Okay.
So when you actually make this, we're going to make the bottom, then we're going to make the sides. We're going to put our meat mixture, and then we're going to put the meat mixture in, and then we'll actually put something on top of your meat and vegetables and spices, and then we'll put a topping, a layer on top. And that makes it so that your meat is preserved. You can keep it fresh longer.
Oh, that's really interesting. I wouldn't think that you would use this multiple times. I'm gonna put these in the bowl over here. And this is a turnip, right? You can use any type of vegetable though, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Use things from your garden that you're growing, turnips and carrots, beans, could use peas, onions, that kind of thing.
Also fruit, right? In your meat pie?
Yes, and we have, yes, you can do that. Apple, you can put some apple in, maybe a little raisin, something like that.
So what would the typical day be like? This would be how long of a process if you were...
Oh, when you're going to have a bake day, which is generally on a Saturday, so you have fresh things for Sunday and the week ahead, what's going to happen is you're going to be baking all day long, and you're going to be, you'll be having daughters and servants helping. And you're going to make bread. If you have a family of 7 with like 3 to 5 servants, you're going to be making probably 10 round loaves of bread. And you'd be making meat pies, and you'd be making tarts, and you'd be making cakes. Now a cake can be either a sweet bread, a pound cake, or a cookie today. But that you're going to be making all those things, and you'll just be working really hard doing that. Oh, it would make a day of it.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the other typical things that they would have eaten?
A lot of lamb. You're eating a lot of meat. You'd have at least 2 kinds of meat at your noonday meal, and you'd be also having bread and cheese, vegetables from the garden, that kind of a thing. You're going to be doing that too, and side dishes, which we today call dessert.
Oh, okay.
And I can see right now, I'm going to start again with this. What I was going to say is it needs more rye flour. I can feel it. So I don't know if that's...
See, I would never have thought that needed more flour.
It needs more rye flour.
Okay.
It's too malleable. It needs to be, that's an art again.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Back to being the art, and you can, there we go. This feels about right.
All right, looks good. So now you're going to make the bottom.
2. Yes,
Correct.
I am.
What kind of traditions would the English farmer have brought over? Is this something that was just in the old world, or is this something that would have been done here when the immigrants came in?
When they come here, they're going to be doing those things. That's what they know.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like a modern day version of what?
A pot pie.
A pot pie. That's what I was going to say, but I wanted you to say.
Yes.
A pot pie.
And then what I'm going to use this plate for is, you want to get it pretty thick. You don't want it to be too thin. You don't want it to be too thick. Again, it's an art. So, and what I'm going to do is take this plate and take my knife and see if I get that about right. Yeah, that's good.
I can't wait to see how this comes out.
And I'm going to
move this.
cut around the plate.
So it's going to be a circular coffin? Oh, okay. See, I was
Yes.
picturing it like a rectangle. Like a real coffin.
No? Well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable indeed. So you're going to have this, and you're set. And then you have this. So that's what you're working with. Like
all right.
that.
Perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, then what I have to do is build the sides. And you know what we should do? We should put those vegetables.
Are they okay?
Yeah, we can go ahead and put them in to our pot there to let them cook a little bit
in this
more.
pot, right?
Yes. Yes.
Alrighty.
Would you like the spoon, Sarah?
I think I probably need a spoon, else I'm going to burn myself.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about this stove.
This is this right here over near your head is the swinging crane, and what's going to happen is you can actually take the bar and pull it back toward coming towards you.
Oh, I see.
If you want to, do you want to do that a moment? If you want to, you just go like this.
Can I touch it with my hands?
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be much hotter than that one.
Yeah, and I'll let you.
Oh, so
excuse
cool.
me, I'll get out of here.
So that's when you want to take it off the fire
yeah,
and then back on the fire.
Yep. That's like our stove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And then right back here is our bake oven. And what we do is we get a fire in there for 4 hours, and we keep it going. And then after that time, you take all the coals and ashes and you put them in the pit in the bottom.
And it's a really, really good source of heat. It's really warm in here, and it is cold outside. You can't even be outside right now, and I'm perfectly toasty in here.
What I'm going to do right now, we're going to roll off the sides. All right? Put a little bit more rye flour in there, and then if you just want to roll, we're going to get long. Well, long.
Oh, long.
Like that.
Oval.
More long, and we still have to keep it thick.
It's not looking as pretty as yours.
Oh, you're fine.
Here.
You want it to be long, and I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Yep.
You have small cutting boards.
Yeah, we do have small cutting boards. I hope in modern times they have longer, bigger ones.
I hear they do.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
That looks really good. That's very nice.
You're just being nice?
Now, no, I'm not just being
Okay.
nice. I'm being serious. What I was going to say is we can do, this is what we actually do. You're going to love our modern devices for how we, or not modern devices. Just this is how we usually do the sides. Just kind of use the rolling pin as a gauge. Oops, I didn't do so well there. And then on this side here, turn around so you can see what I'm talking about. You're going to go like this. And this is how you build your side, make your sides. Okay, now what you're going to do is going to go like this. Good old water, you know, the way.
Yep, seal the edges. Yeah.
So go like that.
We still do that.
So now I'll show you how we build this.
Okay.
So this is flat with my hand. Here we go like this. And I need to put more water in there. All to make a coffin.
And talk more about, you said earlier that you
And
reuse the coffin.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You said earlier you reuse the coffin.
Yes, you can use this multiple times.
Yeah, and how do you use it multiple times once it's already open?
Once we get this made and everything, then we'll put our meat with the vegetables and everything inside. And what's going to happen then is you make a topping, for it.
You can just, like a pot.
And so you're going to take a knife, cut a circle, lift off the top.
Okay.
And then what you're going to
Very
do is you're going to eat the contents and then reuse it. So you just kind of seal your
I
top
love it.
back on.
Love it.
So this is what we're doing right here. Kind of pinching the inside and bringing up the outside, if that makes any sense. Do you want to give it a try?
Sure.
Go like kind of around like that. And kind of, yep, that's good.
Like that? It
Did I
actually
get
really
enough water there?
does stay up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
You're making a coffin.
Cool.
So that's why we just keep on rolling out dough. And we are going to go through, and I probably will have to make more dough to make the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to keep rolling?
Sure. And another thing we should do is check our vegetables too.
Okay, I'll let you do that. I'll try to roll.
Okay, very good. And if you need more, might need a little more rye flour, and that's right here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So what part of England again was this house?
This house comes from Worcestershire, England,
Worcestershire,
in
England.
the West Midlands.
Okay. And what kind of terrain would it would have been similar to here in the valley?
You know, you're growing wheat, barley, and rye, and you're also have your 100 sheep. You're taking care of them and raising them, shearing them twice a year. So it's kind of, this person's a mixed farmer, and the terrain is conducive to both things.
Might need more dough. Make it work.
Let's see.
I didn't want to roll it any further.
side, you did. I'm glad you stopped when you did.
Okay.
We'll do it on this side. I think this one might be a little thinner. So I want you to go ahead and cut that. I just think that's such a wonderful modern measuring.
Hey, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. There
That's
we go.
right. Let me put this on for you. There we go. And then you want to go ahead and do it?
Sure.
And I'll show you what we do when we attach that. Just going to kind of.
So what do you think this is probably one of the bigger food contributions these people
Go
had
ahead, I'm with you.
to the colony?
I would say, yeah.
As far as like the, it's kind of like the pot pie today. Are there any others that you would say are the big contributions?
I would say yes. And they're making the bread. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
of course. And tarts.
And tarts.
Right? Which you might do later.
But yes,
if we're
and
lucky.
I would say that really the meat pie is a big thing. It's a really special English thing. Yes.
And would this be a holiday type thing too?
At Christmas time, we make a mincemeat pie. And what's happening with that is it's either lamb or beef, and you put raisins and currants in, you put salt and pepper in, you put cloves and mace and nutmeg in.
Yeah,
so
I love mincemeat pie. It's not something everybody eats, but we eat it a lot around here with Mrs. Rouse down the road. So, okay, so we're ready to fill the meat pie?
Yes, we're all set, Sarah.
Okay, I cannot wait to taste it. Sally, this stuff looks great. I can't wait to try the meat pie. How do I cut this thing?
Well, I would say, first of all, carefully. But anyway, you want to take your knife and cut a circle.
Okay,
and then
around
lift off the top.
This edge?
That's a great idea.
Okay.
You're doing great.
It definitely stayed firm when it baked. It's not going to fall apart. Here we go. Perfect. I think, hopefully. Let's see what happens when we lift the top off.
Lift it. Oh, good job. And there you go.
Look at that. All right, so we do something special with these napkins, correct?
Yes, we do. We put them over our left shoulder. So that's what we need to do right now.
Why do we put them on our left shoulder?
Because you're going to be
Because
eating.
you shovel with your right hand?
Yes, you are going to be doing that. But there's another thing to mention, Sarah. You're going to be using a spoon, but
okay.
You're not going to have a fork, and you're not going to have a knife except for, you know, like a serving knife, I mean, for like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to be using something else called your fingers, of course. You want to put your first knuckle, you may put in your mouth. The second knuckle, you do not want to put in your mouth because that is considered rude.
All right, serve me up.
Here you go. A little bit more there.
The lamb is really tender. It's really good.
And we also have dessert.
Oh, great. Can I have some?
Yes. This is apple cream.
Okay.
It's apples. It is cream, of course, cinnamon, and ginger and sugar, although they really would have been using a lot of honey because they raise bees.
So it's just kind of like a pie filling,
yes.
basically.
Yes.
And you can't, not like that. Cream and sugar, it's delicious. Thank you so much, Sally. It's been great spending time with you and enjoying this wonderful meal. I'm gonna head back to the kitchen and create my own English lamb dish. We're back here at my modern kitchen and I'm going to make lamb meatballs. The reason why I'm going to make lamb meatballs is because it's inspired by the lamb that we used in the English kitchen today. So this is a more modern way to use lamb because they probably wouldn't make lamb meatballs. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our stove and add a little bit of olive oil. And then a shallot, and we're gonna sweat that a little bit till it gets soft. They shouldn't take more than a few minutes. You just want them soft. Don't have to have a lot of color. This is going to be part of our meatball mixture. So we'll let that cook for a second. And to this bowl, we're going to add 1.5 pounds of ground lamb. And this was actually a local lamb that we had butchered, so it should be very tasty. Okay, and to that we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, breadcrumbs, and 1 egg to bind it all together. Okay, that goes in. Looks like our onions are almost done. They look pretty good. They're just soft. You don't need to caramelize them. Take those off the heat. You should ideally let them cool because you don't want to scramble your egg when you put it in the pan. Put them over here away from the egg. Cool for a second. Okay, and that's it. That's simple as it gets. This is your meatball mixture. So I'm gonna get in here with my hands because they're your best tool. You just knead the meatball. You also probably want to salt and pepper too. I did not do that. I'll do that in a second. All right, a little salt, a little pepper. Probably should not do this with the gross hands. Use a towel. Okay. Mix that all together. We're going to form our meatballs and put them back in the pan just to brown. This should make about 18 meatballs. Put this back on the heat. And I usually make them about golf ball size. We'll just do a few for you. So like I said, on the English farm we had the meat coffin that we put the mutton in. So this was my inspiration. I love lamb. It's probably my second favorite meat next to bacon, because I love bacon. So this is definitely a modern version of the use of lamb. Very, very tasty. We're gonna make a good tomato-based spice sauce that goes over this. And then we're actually gonna serve it on a hoe cake, which is very southern. It's made out of cornmeal and flour. And you make it in a cast iron skillet, ideally with some bacon grease or butter or even lard. You don't have to cook these all the way. Again, you just want to brown them They're actually going to cook more in the sauce that we're going to make here in a second. So you just want to kind of flip them to all sides are brown. Some of them are getting kind of big, but that's okay. All right, let me wash my hands real quick. Okay. We'll probably turn these meatballs now. So definitely see there they're getting nice and brown. You just want to keep flipping them until all sides get that color. It'll also, if you brown them, it'll help them stay together in the sauce because you don't want them falling apart. We want this to look like meatballs and sauce and not hamburger helper. All right, get these flipped and then we'll start on the sauce. So what I like to do for the sauce is toast the spices. Spices are so much better toasted, and what I like to do is buy whole cumin and whole coriander and then toast them in a pan and then put them in a grinder and then make them into this powder. And trust me, they are so much better that way. It'll change your recipe tremendously. So the first thing that is going to go in the sauce, we're going to have to start another pan over here, again, is some olive oil. Put that down a little bit. Saute the onions in the olive oil. And it's okay if they get a little color. And to that, after they saute for a second, we're going to add garlic, 1 clove of garlic. One clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of the toasted cumin, and 1 tablespoon of the toasted coriander. And 2 cinnamon sticks. Just throw them in the pot. Let those kind of marry for a few minutes. While that's working, I'm going to flip my meatballs one more time. Okay. And to the sauce, we're going to add crushed tomatoes. Woo! A little messy. And 1 cup of chicken stock. Stir that around. Let it kind of cook for a minute. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to take the meatballs and put them in the sauce. We kind of lost that one. We sacrificed that one. All right, turn that off. Turn the heat up till it starts simmering. 2 more ingredients. We have some parsley, just throw that in, and some mint. We're also going to use the mint in the hoe cake too, which we're not doing on camera, but have already been pre-made. The hoe cakes have the cumin and the mint as well, so everything kind of marries together, tastes delicious. We're going to let these meatballs simmer until they're cooked all the way through. We're going to plate them up on top of some hoe cakes and taste them when we return. The meatballs look delicious. Let's give them a try. Tender, just like you would expect lamb to be. And with the hoe cake, with those spices and the spices in the sauce, soaks it up. Tastes great. So good. Thank you for joining me. I'm Sarah Nicholas. Until next time, let's keep the story going.